So what we're going to talk about is who can get information specific to your TRS account. Who can get that information on your behalf? And there are some different ways with varying levels that we're going to talk about here. So our typical policy regarding providing specific information is that we will only provide this to you specifically, just you. Now, if somebody calls up, not you, and they say, I need to find where the trip information is on the TRS website. That's fine. That's not specific to your account. But if somebody were to call and say, okay, my spouse, I need to get an income verification for my spouse. That's specific to your account. We are not going to provide that to anybody other than you unless some certain procedures are followed. And what I'll explain is the different levels of them and what you need to do here. So your spouse or your children or your friends cannot call and ask questions about your account unless you are in a TRS appointment and you are there with them, or you call in and you're there, you take the phone and say, you have my permission to say this to my spouse or whoever, but you have to give your permission to do that before we will provide any information. And this actually does include situations where you might be married to someone that's also a TRS member. It doesn't matter that both people are in TRS. The information is very specific to you. And the reason for this is we just were very concerned that somebody else would get information and that could create issues for you if you did not want that provided to someone else. So the most basic level of giving permission to someone is to just simply give permission to provide the information. And you can do that using what's called a confidential information release form. I'll show you that in just a second. We need your handwritten signature on that. And then you can let us know what information we could provide. So it's going to tell us which categories of information we can tell someone else about. We're going to know exactly who that person is, but it does not allow them to make any changes. So even though someone has permission to get information, they cannot say, and by the way, I need to change the address or something like that. They cannot make any changes on your account. So the procedure to do this would be to complete what we call a confidential information release form. You could either mail that back to TRS, or you could upload it to your TRS account. That is probably the easiest way to do it. That is secure. And in the category on your TRS account, you would look for upload documents. There's not a specific one for confidential information release, but you could use the other category. And when you upload it, we'll see what it is. So that'll take care of it. What we will do is scan that to your record, and we will put a note on there, which is the first thing someone would see when you or that person calls, and it will say who has permission to get information and what information they can get. So this might be a little bit small to see on the screen, but this will just give you a general idea of what we're looking for. This is the form that the top part of the information is your information, your name, social security number, or you could put your member ID in there if you like, phone number, address, that type of thing. So we'll get that basic information from you. Then we will get the same information from the third party that you want the information to be given to. So this could be a spouse, it could be your same address and everything, that's all fine, but you fill out that second category. And then on the bottom here, it says what information can be released. So do you want us to be able to talk about absolutely anything other than HIPAA related information? Benefit information for divorce. If we have that filed, can we give that to someone else? Or everything except the HIPAA and the other information that you may not want. If there is something else, there's a couple lines there, and you could say, please Do not provide information on whatever else it is that you want. Then also you have a couple different options for how long this would be in place. So maybe it's your spouse and you want them always to be able to get this information. Then you just check indefinitely and it will just sit out there, and they will be able to get that information. If it's just for a period of time, maybe for medical reasons, you're not able to call us with everything that you need, but that's just for the next few months or something. And then at that point, you can take things back and you don't need to worry about it. Then put in a date and we will include all of this information so that we will only provide the information that you say we can and during the time period that you are allowing us to do that. And then the bottom of the form, just to note here, it does require a signature. You cannot fill this out online with an e-signature. It has to be printed off, actually signed and dated. And the signature we're looking here is your signature, not the signature of the person that you're giving permission to. So this is really the most basic level. It allows us to provide information to someone else with your permission, but that someone else is not able to make any changes on your account. Now we can move to the next level, which is a little bit more comprehensive, an actual power of attorney. So this is a legal document. And this may be in place when a member is not able to manage their personal affairs anymore. So a power of attorney can be appointed. In order to do this, we need a copy of the POA, and it needs to be for property and financial affairs. A lot of times when a power of attorney is executed, it has two categories, and it may be for both or just one or the other. One of the categories is property and financial affairs. The other one is healthcare. If you have a power of attorney, but it's only for healthcare, that cannot be used for this purpose. We need the one that says it's for property and financial affairs. So this would be, we would get a copy of the power of attorney. And what this allows is that the POA can make changes on your account, but the TRS member can also make changes on your account. So you are allowing someone else to do that if needed, but you also, if you provide a written request, you can make changes on your account as well. The one time that may not work is if a physician has indicated that you're incapacitated. But generally speaking, with a POA, someone else can make these necessary changes, but you can still make them as well. So in order to enact a power of attorney for our files, the POA needs to provide the complete power of attorney document for financial affairs. We also need something called a POA or guardianship demographic form. I'll show you that in just a moment. If the TRS member has health insurance, so if you have either Trip or Trail, the primary address on your TRS file has to remain as your street address because health insurance is attached to where you are living. So we need your street address in there. And what will happen then is that we will set up what we call an alternate contact, and the POA's information and address and everything will be on that part of the record. So your actual TRS record would still represent your own primary address. And then at some point again, the TRS member, being you, can provide written notification that you want to remove a POA from the file. So you still have a lot of control with this, but it does allow somebody else to make changes if that seems to be better. Okay, so the power of attorney demographic information form would look something like this. And I broke this into two different pieces, so it's a little bit easier to read here. The top portion of this form is your specific information. So your name, Social Security, or member ID. A lot of times people have switched to including a member ID rather than Social Security number. Date of birth, street address, that type of thing. So this top portion is you, the TRS member. The bottom portion of this is the information for the power of attorney. So it's going to be the name, has to be the same name and address and such that is listed in the power of attorney document itself. So we're going to collect all the information from them. And then you see on the bottom, there are two choices for mailing information going forward. Once this is all reviewed and put in place, all correspondence could still be mailed to you at your residential address, or all correspondence could be mailed to the guardian or POA. So at that point, you can choose which is the best place to send information. It really depends on your specific circumstance. What is the better way to handle that? That's the whole idea of this, is to be able to give people the best opportunity to keep things updated and make decisions and such, and get all the correct information to the person that needs it. And then we do, again, need an actual signature of either you, the TRS member, or the POA, and date it. So that is one level above just telling people information on the phone. This is now appointing someone to actually make some changes if that is the best route to go. And then going a little bit further than that would be where our TRS member is really not in a position any longer to make any decisions on their own. So in this case, a guardian could be appointed. This is a court-appointed person or entity that is going to act on behalf of the TRS member. In this situation, since this is a court-appointed document, the TRS member, being you, cannot send a request to remove this. This is assigned by the court. And so in order to make this go away, we would need a court document that said it is no longer needed for some reason. And when a guardianship is used, you can no longer make changes on your record, even if you send in a written request. We do not see a lot of these situations. As you might imagine, it usually comes into play when there are memory issues and someone is not really, truly not able to handle their own affairs. It is much more common to either see that we are able to provide information to someone else, or a POA will come in where there is still a possibility that you could make changes yourself. If you are going to have a guardian place, though, the guardian is going to provide the complete proof of guardianship document. They're going to complete that same POA or guardianship demographic form so we know who it is and how to contact them and everything. It is still going to be the case that if trip or trail, so if you have health insurance, we do still need your primary address on the TRS record as the street address. That's how the insurance works. And then a note here, this is a difference between a POA and a guardian, that the TRS member cannot provide written notification to remove the guardian. We would need a new court document saying that is no longer required. So those are the three options there. Again, one is just to give permission to provide information. The next level would be a POA. You and the POA can make changes. And the third, and if you will, most restrictive, would be a guardian, which is somebody that is entirely going to act on your behalf. So how do you get this information to us? The easiest thing to do, it can be mailed to us, it can be faxed to us, or it could be uploaded into your TRS account. Again, your TRS account is a secure method to get this information to us. If you have any questions about how this all would work, or you have something kind of outside the norm of what I've just mentioned to you, you can call TRS, our 877-927-5877. You can ask questions to those people there, or get information if you need to mail something in, something like that. Or you could send an email. The members' email box is monitored by a benefits counselor. We alternate weeks answering individual emails, so you could send something to members@trsil.org, and usually you would expect to get a response in about 1 to 2 days on something like that. A lot of information is available on our TRS website, so that is on the upper right there, trsil.org. Facebook and Twitter are still there. And then on our YouTube channel, we are recording this today, so this will be posted out on our YouTube channel in a couple of weeks. So if you have an interest in taking a look at this again, or it wasn't something you needed to do right away, but then in retrospect you decide you want to move on it, this will be available for you to look at those options again. All right, thanks for attending, everyone, and maybe we'll see some of you in another hour.
Great job, Sandy. Thanks, folks, for joining.
Okay.